Hello everyone and welcome to episode 52 of the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is a crafty crochet, knitting and sewing podcast coming to you from Bedfordshire in the UK, where we have a sort of not an unpleasant day. It's not too cold, but it is a bit grey. So how have you been over the summer? I've been gone an awful long time, it feels. And what have you been up to? Did you have a nice time? Did you have nice holidays? We didn't actually go away for summer because we went away at Easter, so I thought it would seem like a long break. And although I feel I've been sort of gone a long time because I'm out of sort of everything and not been doing things, it went really, really quickly. So yeah, it was quite surprising. But even though we seemed to have a lot of time, I didn't actually seem to get an awful lot done that was very productive. I sort of fell off the face of the earth and just stayed there the whole time, really. So it's quite nice to have a nice rest and be completely out of things and disengage. It was quite nice. But then I think I sort of took it a bit too far and it went on a bit too long. Now I feel all rusty. But never mind, let's just crack on with things. What have I got to tell you? Oh yes, show notes for this podcast will be on my blog, so that's cherryheart.co.uk, and I shall pop the link for the show notes in the down bar below. You can find me elsewhere on the web as Cherry Heart, and I'm on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT. It's going to be a bit of a sock fest to start. I sort of haven't got an amazing amount of things to show, considering the amount of weeks since I last podcasted. Like I say, the productivity levels haven't been amazingly high, so I haven't got an awful lot to show on that front, but I have got quite a lot of socks and I have got quite a lot of incoming goodies, so I shall try not to dwell too much on just showing you yarn after yarn. But we did go to, me and Sam from Betsy Makes, we did go to Fibre East at the end of July, so I have got a few little bits to show you. So we best crack on with it, really, haven't we? So first of all, it's going to be a bit of a sock fest, as I say. So the first thing I want to talk about is a bit of Podmin, because I've got a sort of crafty make-along to share with you, which you'll probably know about already, but Strictly is what I'm going to talk about. Strictly and socks. So Strictly Come Dancing, as we call it here in the UK. I think it's called Dancing with the Stars and various other things around the world. I don't know if the different countries all do it at this kind of time, but here in the UK we have Strictly Come Dancing, and it starts in September and it runs through the autumn and sort of takes us almost up to Christmas. And during that time, Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful podcast, which is a very good podcast if you're not watching it already, do pop over. I will link in the show notes. Do pop over and see Anna, because she's got a lovely podcast. It's one of my faves. Anyway, she runs a sock along, so that's when you're watching Strictly Come Dancing, you knit on your socks, and you knit on them a little bit every episode, and then by the end of the season, by the finale, you want to be finishing them off. So you start at the launch, well, not at the launch show because that was on Saturday. That's where they tell you what people are going to be in it, but then they have a 2-week breaks before they do the first show. So you start on the first actual show and knit a little bit each episode, and then finish them off on the final. And then you've got your Strictly socks. So it's the Strictly sock along, she calls it, but I think you can knit or you can crochet, so it's a kind of a make along, but it's socks anyway. And yes, but one of her, I'll put, as I say, I'll put the link to her podcast, but also to her Ravelry thread where she's put all the rules. But she does say that rule breaking is positively encouraged, because you know, there's Catch Up TV, there's the spin-off shows, the It Takes Two, they all count. But also if you can get a bit creative about how you're imbibing the Strictly spirit into your socks, I think that all counts as well. But yeah, pop over to Ali's the thread, Ali's thread, in the Little Drops of Wonderful group on Ravelry, which I will link, and that will have all the ins and outs and tell you what's going on. She's got lots of lovely prizes to win, and yeah, it should be pretty good fun. So anyway, the point in telling you all about that, other than I'm taking part in it, I did last year and I'm going to again this year, is that last year when I took part, I made some socks, and I just came up with a little design, and I made the socks in that. So she asked me if I would take part and create a design for those socks for the Strictly Along this year, which I have done. So I'm going to show them to you now at last. Yeah, that's what all that talking was about, to show you these. So these are my cha-cha-cha chevron socks. Well, cha-cha chevron socks in actual fact, that I designed for Ali's Strictly Along Sock Along. So the tag is Strictly 2018 socks. So if you're joining in, you'll want to tag everything with that, so that everyone else can see your progress and everything. But yeah, this is my little design that I've made for them. So it's quite simple, because we don't want anything too taxing when we're focusing on the dancing and the drama and the point scoring and the outfits and the glitter of Strictly, but just, you know, a little something to keep you interested while you're making those. But yeah, nothing too taxing. They're a cuff down sock, because that is what I prefer. I've done a twisted rib. I've got my little chevron, cha-cha chevron pattern, heel flap and gusset, and then just a wedge toe at the end. So that's all in the pattern. And then this yarn that I've made them in, this rather lovely yellowy yarn, is because my lovely friend Sam of Betsy Makes also got involved, and she came up with this special colourway especially for the sock along as well. So this is in her Strictly sock base. So I don't know if you can see, but it has, because it's Strictly, it had to have a little stellina bling, we thought. Just a little bit picking up down there. Yes, so that's on her Strictly sock base. So it's a superwash and nylon mix, and with a stellina, and it's called Limoncello. So of course Ali is a massive fan of yellow, so that only seemed appropriate. But also she's come up with this beautiful sort of semi-solid yarn. It's actually coming up a little darker on the screen, so well, it is when I'm recording it, but sometimes when I actually get it edited and uploaded, it does change the colours slightly, so hopefully it will show nice and true when you're actually seeing it. But yes, this is something Sam does so well. I think it's a sort of, it's almost like a semi-solid, but she just adds those other little touches of subtle colour just to make it interesting, because I always really want to use solid colours, but then I always look at them and get drawn into, you know, other ones with speckles and whatnot going on. But Sam's got this sort of nice knack of just adding a little bit more interest, just to keep them really, you know, one main colour, but just a little bit more depth and excitement to it. I'm not very good at coming up with words today, as you can probably tell, but you know what I mean. They've got lighter patches, they've got the darker patches, they've got a beautiful tonal quality. But yeah, I think she does that so well. But yeah, I think it's perfect for this. It shows off the pattern beautifully, and yet it's a lovely yarn that you can see through the pattern as well. So hopefully, we did try to coordinate our efforts, so hopefully that worked quite well. But yeah, so at the moment, the pattern is available on Ravelry, and I've also posted about it on my blog, so you might have seen these already. But I've got a 30% discount running, so for the duration of Strictly, so from now until whenever the Strictly final is. I'll find out closer to the time. There'll be 30% discount on these, but you do need the discount code. So the code you need to buy these is Strictly 2018. So Strictly 2018. So if you just pop that in at checkout, when you go to Ravelry, there's a little cart, and at the bottom there's an enter coupon code. Pop that in there and you can get your 30% discount. So that's running through the whole, started already, and it's running through the whole make along, so you can get 30% off those. And if you watch Ali's podcast, her latest one, I'll pop the number down here because I haven't watched it yet. She'll be doing a giveaway for the pattern as well, so you'll be able to get a free copy she'll be giving away, so you might have a chance to win that as well. And then the lovely yarn by Sam, she's actually had some in a shop update already, which has sold out, so she has got some more and she'll be dyeing some more up. So that's coming in her next shop update, which is on the 14th of September. So I'll pop her podcast link in and her shop link in so you can find that. She normally updates, I think, at 7, but I haven't checked. I'll put it down here though when here it is, but I know it's definitely the 14th of September, so that's Friday, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so if you didn't manage to get any in the first update, don't worry, there is another chance coming. But also you could, you know, knit any socks you like. You don't have to do this one. We just thought it would be kind of fun to, you know, have that available for you, and I don't know, it was just nice to be asked. So thank you, Ali, for involving us, and yeah, I'm looking forward to making up my Strictly socks as well. I'm not quite sure what I'll be doing this year because obviously I've knit quite a few of these now, so with the best will in the world, I don't particularly want to make another pair right away, so I'll be doing something else with my Strictly socks. I was thinking maybe this. It's actually a Christmas colourway, it's Yuletide, but I thought it was quite autumnal colours as well, and as Strictly takes us up to Christmas. And then I was going to do my heels and toes in that maybe. I might do that, maybe. Right, so that's the Strictly sock along, and also a pip, and also a finished object. So that's loads of sections all rolled into one. So we'll carry on with finished objects, although this may as well just be a sock section, but whatever. So what else have I got to show you? My beachfront socks. Now I think I actually showed you these as a work in progress for the holes. And I think I was probably quite far through them. But yeah, they're actually all finished and done now. Look at that toe, I love the toe. So this is a Nordic Stitches pattern by Lily of Nordic Stitches. It's her beachfront socks, and she actually sells the pattern for, she's got a set of shorties. I don't know if you can buy them individually or you need to buy the set. I'm not sure on that. Yeah, but they're all for shorty socks, so the cuff would, if you made it as written, the cuff would be down here, but she does say about, you know, you can extend it and put yourself a little leg on, which is what I did because that's how I prefer mine. And I just took the pattern up the front. I could have put it on the back as well, I suppose, but I thought the front was enough. And it also gave me a chance to see this beautiful, beautiful yarn. So this is a Biff Sugars yarn. She has so many nice colourways. I'm following on her on Instagram, and pretty much every time she posts I'm like, oh, I want to buy something. I'm resisting, and you'll see why in a bit, but yeah, she's got beautiful, beautiful colours, very tempting. So yeah, I'm pleased with those, really like the design, really love the yarn, really nice to work with, got a really nice feel to it. Oh, and this is also another incoming goodie, some lovely new sock blockers. And I'm suddenly thinking, oh my goodness, what is the name? Oh, I've forgotten her name. She's P4 Chen on Instagram. I'll put it down here, and I'll put, you know, I'll put the links in show notes, obviously. But yes, these are, she has a farm and she hand makes these and finishes them all off by hand. She makes them to order, so you have to Just wait a little while they're made up before they get sent to you. But aren't they beautiful? Absolutely lovely. They're so pretty. I saw them in her feed and I was like, I've been following her for a while, so I don't know why I didn't see them, but they just suddenly popped up and I was like, oh, those are gorgeous. They must be mine. I just added a little ribbon in. Yeah. So I'll pop her details below. I think it's Knitology, her website. But it's not like a sort of shopping website or anything. You just sort of email her and tell her what you want. But all the instructions are on the website. Yeah, and they just feel so smooth. They're beautifully finished. There's not a single catch on them or anything. They're just really nice. They've got a really nice feel. She's obviously got some sort of oil or... I don't know. It doesn't feel like varnish. Sort of like some sort of nice substance she's used to finish them off. So they feel really lovely. I thought they were so pretty. So that's an incoming goodie I got over summer. Yeah, very pleased with those. Oh, I wish I could remember your name. How embarrassing. Oh, I met her as well. I met her at Edinburgh last year. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, little pair of sock boppers and some lovely socks. Patricia. That's her name. I'm sorry, Patricia. I completely forgot your name for a moment. Yeah, so it's Patricia who makes these on her farm in Norway. So yeah, very beautiful. And then my final sock and finished object to show you are my Sweet Bee socks. I'm obviously into the twisted rib cuff at the moment. Twisted rib, twisted rib, twisted rib. So I did that on my original Cha-Cha chevron socks that I made. So I kept the same. The name, by the way, is thank you to Ali's daughters, because I'm not very good with names, so I was asking for help, and so that they came up with some ideas. I thought Cha-Cha chevron. It had to have Strictly in it somewhere, didn't it? So yeah, that's twisted rib. Can't remember if that was written into the pattern or not, but this one is written into the pattern. Anyway, tangent. But I am enjoying it lately, the twisted rib. So yes, these are the Sweet Bee socks by the lovely Jules of So Sweet Violet. And yeah, aren't they pretty? So this, well, I wanted to knit this as soon as I saw it on her, as soon as she showed them on her blog, really. But I also wanted some new yarn to make them in, because I kind of had the idea of something like this. I wanted something quite subtle and sort of, well, I kind of had wool barn in mind, which is what this is. So yeah. Oh, I can't organise my thoughts today. What am I trying to say? Yeah, I kind of had a sort of, oh, this is how I would like to do them, and I wanted this kind of yellowy for the stripes. So yeah, so I had to go out and buy something for this, but I just sort of knew how I wanted them to be. So yeah, very happy with those. Now these are a toe up sock, which is quite unusual for me. I don't normally, well, I next to never make toe up socks, to be honest. I used to make them when I first started out, and then I found cuff down, and then I just seem to much prefer that method. So yeah, she actually gifted me a copy of her pattern, so thank you so much, Jules. So I was a bit like, oh my goodness, toe up, how will I manage? I was a little bit sort of, you know, had a little bit of trepidation. So I thought, oh no, will I be able to get them to fit okay? You know, how will it work out? Because I'm so used to doing it the other way now. But yeah, of course it was fine. I just followed Jules's pattern and it was absolutely fine. So I did the toe that she said in her pattern. I can't remember what she calls it. is it a swirl toe, does she call it? Yeah, so I did the cast on and followed the tutorial. So she's done a couple of little tutorials to show you how to do the toe and the little, make the little bee from the bee design. So I followed both of those. So it's very, very thorough. It's a beautifully written pattern, and she's got those little helpful bits in it as well. So yeah, so I followed that for that. So it's sort of the cast on method I knew, but I really liked sort of the way she sort of followed on from there and the increases. So the increases are sort of make one left and make one right. Which, see, that's another thing about toe up socks. See, I'm much more used to doing the decreases, and I'm not very good. I always feel like my make ones don't come out very neatly. I think it looks right. Looks right from here. I did actually block these because Jules recommends to block them to get this bit just to lay nicely, which it does. It looks beautiful now. Yeah, so I think it's perhaps helped a little. But yeah, that's okay. It came out fine actually, but just it's not. I always feel my make ones don't come out as neat. What else was I going to say about this? Oh yes, and it's got a different heel on it. Again, as Jules said, it's lovely and easy, really nice to do. Feels really nice and quick. The only thing I was slightly dubious about is that you've got no slip stitches or anything on the heel. But having said that, to be fair, I get more wear on the bottom than here. So I could have put slip stitches on the bottom, I suppose. But I didn't want to mess, because slip stitches will pull in slightly, I didn't want to mess with anything on the pattern. I wanted to make sure I could get it and that it would fit. So I'll just do as I'm told so it comes out right. But yeah, it came out beautifully, of course. Yeah, I think that's all there is to say about that, apart from to tell you about the yarn. Oh, excuse me, I have a little pussycat visitor. I've had a refusal. I went and opened the door for him, and then he just stood there and then walked away. So I'd left it open a bit because he keeps looking at the door. So let's hope it doesn't get too noisy outside, else we'll have to close it again. What was I saying? Oh yes, the yarn I wanted to tell you about. So this is, both of these are the Wool Barn yarns, because she does the most beautiful subtle speckles. So the yarn for these, they're both the Wool Barn yarns that I got at Fibre East. I wanted something sort of quite subtle and pastel-y for these. Like I said, I wanted this kind of, it almost looks sort of beigey on here, but it's sort of subtle mustardy yellow. Yeah, I just kind of saw the stripes being in that, and I thought, Wool Barn yarn would be perfect if I can get it. And she was at Fibre East, so it was meant to be. So these are my sweet buttery bee socks, because they're all yellow and buttery. But yeah, so this one is a speckled yarn. That's a merino nylon. Smooth sock it is. Sorry, I've just got my computer so I can just see, because I've forgotten the names of things. And this is in her Rose Garden yarn, which is absolutely beautiful. I actually had, this is the one I had already. I had one skein of this, but I actually got another couple because I want to do a shawl in this. It's just so pretty. And then this is also her smooth sock, and that's in the mossy colourway. Yeah, I just think they complement each other really nicely, and they came out beautifully. So that was this. It took me pretty much the entire summer holidays to do those. I kind of started them somewhere at the beginning, and I only just blocked them last week, I think, or yeah. So that's pretty slow for me. So that's what I have done, and that's all the socks. And then the only thing I've really been working on other than that is this bad boy. So again, I spoke to you guys about this before the summer holidays to sort of say that I was hoping to get some done. Oh, I love this. And I did, so let's see if I can show you progress. It's getting really quite big now. Quite big and quite heavy. So I've done about 2/3 of the actual blanket before the summer holiday. So this will be the bottom, and I've done all of this, oops, up to here, all the way across. And then I've now started adding the final third on. So that's the height I've added. So it's 10 squares. So I've done 20, and now I'm adding the final 10. So it's 30 by 34 squares, I think I was going for. So yeah, so I've done that from this corner all the way along here, all the way along here to this side. So quite a lot of adding for all my summer procrastination. So the first couple of weeks it was still really hot, so I didn't do anything there, but as it started to cool off, this has been perfect, and it's actually quite cool some evenings now, so I get to have this on me, and oh, it's lovely. But I have got to the stage now, so I've only got this final sort of corner to fill in, which is about 10 by 10 probably. 11 by 10 to fill in. That's all I've got to do. That's all I've got left. And I don't want it to end. So yeah, and then I've got to start thinking about what on earth I'm going to do with the border, which I'm really not quite sure. Normally, while I'm making, it sort of, you know, percolates in the mind and something will come, but I'm really not quite sure on this. I don't want it to be too sort of fancy. I don't want it to detract from, you know, it can't be too fussy, because this is just nice simple squares. It's quite muted and it just doesn't need much border, but it needs something. My original idea was going to be to have sort of little points, triangle points for each square, but I've kind of gone off that idea. So yeah, I really don't know now, so I'm going to have to sort of play around with some border ideas and try and come up with something, I think, for that. But yeah, I kind of want to work on it all the time. But there's not much blanket left to work on now. But yeah, this sort of coming into autumn when you want just have something draped over you while to keep you warm, it's perfect. And then this, I'll just share this because it's another little incoming goodie I got in the holidays, is the Battenberg cake. So this is my Battenberg blanket, as you may know if you have watched previously. And this is the cake that it's based on that I keep sort of saying about. So it's got yellow and pink sponge in squares, so as you cut through it, then you see the squares. And then it's wrapped around with a yellow marzipan outside, so it sort of looks like a long rectangle, and then as you cut through you can see the little Battenberg window with jam to hold it all together. So that's why it's called the Battenberg blanket, because of the Battenberg cake. So yeah, so the stitch marker was from Chapel Crafts, Chapel View Crafts in fact. She does lots of lovely cute stitch markers. So yeah, very pleased with that. This actually came in a set. I think it was a tea time set, because there was some other cakes and some biscuits and like a little teacup and saucer. So that's really sweet, because I had to put this one on my Battenberg blanket because it's perfect. So amazing, these little stitch markers, these polymer clay stitch markers. The intricateness of the detail is stunning. The sort of, can you see the little crumminess of the cake, you know? It's even got, it looks like sponge. It's amazing. Hide, so I'll focus on that a bit more. It's not working, is it? Maybe I'll get it in a picture and then you'll be able to see. I'll probably put it on Instagram. I'll perhaps put that picture in. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying working on this, and I'll have to think of what the borders should be. Something simple. Last time when I did a scrappy blanket, I just did like a crab stitch edging. which is nice, but I think it needs a little bit more width than that this time. It needs a bit more than that. Right, now let's try and fold this up. Let's try and tame the giant beast. Because this is all wool, it's actually getting quite heavy now, which is gorgeous to have on you. It does make it slightly difficult to move around. Right, let's pop that there. So that's my work in progress. And that's pretty much all I've got in progress at the moment. Can you believe? It feels a bit alien and wrong. I have actually started something else, but I'll show you that next time. Because that's the other thing. I have done a couple of other things in the holiday, but they're kind of a bit secret squirrel. So I'll be able to share them soon, but not quite yet. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the other categories because time. So patterns in progress. So just quickly, I put up, this is a free pattern. It's been on my blog for, oh, I didn't tell you about this, did I? Honestly, coherentness. I just wanted to say about this, the pattern for this, well, I've written up how I do my squares. So, you know, it's only a regular old solid granny square, nothing complicated about it, but I've just written up how I've done it because the way I've joined this is a bit different from normal. So it's like, it's as if it's like a crocheted together from the back. I can show you a back bit, something like that. Like where you just hold the squares together and you crochet along in a double crochet or single crochet in American terms. But I'm doing it using a join as you go method. So I'm joining each, you know, square one at a time, which is hence why I'm adding bits to it rather than I've done all the squares and then having to join all of those seams. So in conclusion, I've got a video tutorial for how I've done that join. I'm calling it the modular join. So I've got a video tutorial, right-handed and left-handed, to show you how to do that. So I've written up the square pattern as well, just so that you sort of make sure you finish in the right place and it makes sense for the tutorial, if you see what I mean. So if you're doing the squares how I do them, you can do the join how I do them as well. So yeah, that's all on the blog and I shall link it in the show notes. And then this was another free pattern that I've had on my site for ages. But what I'm doing with my blanket patterns, because I've got sort of bits of information all over the blog and I've got some tutorials and stuff, I'm trying to collate everything into like one PDF so you can just download it and have all the information you need if, you know, you wanted to make it. So it's only just standard old simple granny squares, nothing very exciting, but I uploaded the PDF for this a while ago, but I just realised I didn't have an American terms version, so I just popped that up as well. So that's just a by the by if you're interested. And then this one. So this is my Colour Theory blanket, which is again another free one, which has been on my website for ages. Again, nothing particularly complicated, just solid granny squares. But I've just put these on point, so you get this nice sort of zigzaggy effect. Yeah, so I made this a few years ago. Cascade 220 I used for this. Back of the ties when you couldn't get it over here and it just come over, and I was so excited because I was going to try it out and I've never tried it before. So I ordered a load of colours and just, yeah, so anyway, conclusion of that rambling is that I've made up the PDF for this now. So again, I've got, the information's been on my blog for a while, but I've just put it in PDF format just so that's a bit easier, and it's available in UK and US terms. And someone asked me if I haven't actually got a breakdown for every single colour in every square. I've listed all the colours I've used exactly, obviously, but I haven't actually given a breakdown so that you can follow it as is, just because of time restraints and, you know, it's a free pattern, so there's a limit to, you have to sort of focus on paying the bills, don't you, first? But anyway, yeah, so I haven't actually gone through and done that as yet. But what I will do is, someone sort of said, could you just put a picture of the whole blanket in so that you could sort of see what I've done. So yeah, I will do that. I haven't done it yet, but I will do that. So I shall upload a picture on there so you can see it all laid out as well. And then last of all, for patterns in progress, is this one. I think I showed you this. Yeah, I showed you this last time and it was almost finished. I don't think I'd had put the tassels on last time. Yeah, I love this. I love how this turned out. So this is my Linden Bee shawl, or it will be, it's not out yet. But this is the one I'm working on at the moment. So this will be the next one coming. Yeah. I love it. Stand up so you can see a bit better. Oh, I love that. Perfect. Yeah. Ooh. I'll take it off quickly while I tell you about it. Yeah, so the reason, no reasons. So this one is a triangle shaped shawl, but it's quite shallow. So what I like at the moment, so this is my in thing lately, is not having too much depth here. So you've got all the length that you want from the shawl, but without having too much there. Like a traditional triangle shawl, it's kind of equal, isn't it? Which is nice and it's really warm. But I tend to want to wear my shawls that way round, how I just had it on. And if it's a traditional one where we've got the whole triangle length, I just find it hangs down too much. It just covers the whole of your front and it's a bit bibbish, whereas I like it more sort of up. So I want my neck to be warm, but I don't want it to sort of cover everything else I'm wearing as well. And yeah, so I just like this really shallower look. It's just my in thing at the minute. So yeah, so I spoke about this last time, so I won't waffle on too much, but just to let you know that that's the one in the works and that will be coming soon. Yeah, I guess that's it really. I'll just go through the yarns quickly. So the white one is by Stranded Dye Works, Amy of Stranded Dye Works, and it's a eraser colourway. So it's just got those little subtle grey specks in there. This one's her single ply. I can't remember the base name, but it's her single ply. And this one was a gradient set from Easy Knits, and that's a single ply as well. So it was a set of 5 minis, 5 20-gram minis, so 100 grams, but I only used 4, so I've sort of gone, because they were gradient, I've kind of started with the light, gone to dark, and then gone to light for the middle, and then done the same thing on the other side, light, dark to light again. So I wanted the stripes to be sort of in there, but reasonably subtle, so I didn't, this one's quite obvious, but I didn't want to go any darker than that, but I really like this, where it's just sort of a little subtle striping. So you need almost 2 fingering weight 4-ply skeins to make this. Obviously I used 180 grams worth and I had some left over. But yeah, you could just make it with 2 skeins and just do 2 colours. You don't have to have the sort of gradient, but if you have got a gradient mini set, it's quite a good way to use it. Yeah, and obviously you could just use any scrappy minis and do your stripes in all kinds of different colours. Or just mix it up entirely. Don't have to stick to the stripes that I've done. But what I've written it for this as this is, so I've written it with these stripes in, showing these changes, and I've, you know, as if you've got 4 contrasting colours, I've written it like that, but I've got it all listed out, so it'd be quite easy for you to change if you wanted to. But yeah, so that's coming. Should keep things stiller, shouldn't I? I wave things around too much. There you go. Just let you look at it. I'll let you absorb it and take it in. Quite a simple little border on this one. Didn't think it needed too much because I quite like the stitch pattern. And lovely tassels on each point. And I should be linking to a tutorial for the tassels as well, in case you haven't made those before. Yeah, so that's it. So patterns in progress. So now the last section is incoming goodies. So some of them I've talked to you about as I've gone along. Some Wool Barn yarn, some sock blockers. But because I went to Fibre East, there are a couple of others. But I'll try to be quick so it's not a whole, you know, massive thing. So this one I got just before Fibre East. I ordered this from the lovely Regina. Beautiful Reggie's, beautiful yarns. So Herbs Black Regina, and shall I attempt to say the name of this? Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. I know the accent will be absolutely diabolical, but basically that's Black Forest Gatto to you and me, assuming that you don't speak German. If you do, then you probably needed a translation for the first bit that I said, to be fair, even if you do speak German, because that was probably so atrocious. But yes. Yeah, I was quite, let's see, Schwarz I know is black, Kirsch I recognise as the cherry, and Tort for cake, I guess. So Walder must be the forest bit. Walder. Yeah. And Red Maple Leaves is mini, so it's a sock set. So it's superwash merino and 20% polyamide. But I saw Judith from Merino and Tomatoes, and we had a little meet up a while ago now, and she was making something with this, and it was so pretty. I just had to get some. So yeah, that's so beautiful. Kind of want to do this quite soon. I'm wondering if this could be my Strictly socks too, or instead rather. Yeah, so that one, and then the Fibre East haul. So because the lovely Mini Barn, no, Wool Barn was there, I did have a little bit of a Wool Barn moment, because you know she's online, and I know these things are always available online, but you can't always get her stuff because she's so popular, because she's so good. She sells out. Right, sorry about that impromptu stop. I just had to stop filming because I tipped over my glass of water. So that was nice. Yes, anyway, where was I? What was I saying to you? Yes, Wool Barn at Fibre East. So, of course, when everything is actually there and it's all laid out and you can see it, I do get rather excited. But yeah, I thought I'm going to treat myself because it's hard to get the stuff in the shop sometimes, and I know I love it, and even if I don't use it straight away, I know I'll always love it, and yeah. So it's money well spent as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, so I got my 2 rose gardens that I told you about. So I was looking, I knew I had one, and I was looking to get another, because I had an idea in mind for something I wanted to do for those. But I decided to get 2 just because the one I got, I've actually had it a couple of years, so I just wanted, because I wanted to use them together in a project, I thought I'd get 2 to sort of try and make them closer, because obviously it's hand-dyed yarn, so they're always going to vary, but I just thought if these ones are at least out of the same batch, there's more chance of them being the same. And I knew the other one would be perfect for my socks, so that worked out brilliantly. So that's the Rose Garden, which is stunning. She also had this beauty, which is Beachcomber, which I also love. And I nearly got 2 of these, but in the end I went for this one with it as well, which is called Minty Melon. So I'm kind of loving the mints at the moment, but they look really nice together. And you know what I was just thinking? Wouldn't they make a nice one of these? Like just a little, they go really well, but there's a little variation for the stripes. Oh, that would be perfect. So those might be a shawl as well. And I have got another shawl idea, and both of these would work well for it. So that, and I also got some minis from her. It's a lovely little set. This one's wound up because I was contemplating putting it in my Sweet Bee yarns as the stripes. Oops. Which I think would look really nice as well, bring out the little pink. But I stuck to my original. So this one I've got a whole skein of, so that's up there. Can you see that? Is that even on the screen? Yeah, so that's there. So yeah, I did have a bit of a wool barn treat for myself. But as I say, it will not be wasted. And then I also got some West Green Lofts. So this was another yellow, just again because I had this colour in mind before I went. I think I was thinking of this sock idea, but in the end I went for the Wool Barn one because I felt it went better. But yeah, this kind of buttery yellow colour I just had in mind before I went for some reason, and I saw it and I thought that's it, that's exactly the perfect colour that I wanted. So I got that. And I got this one, which is, what's this called by the way? This one's 100% superwash merino, and it's in her kitty colourway. And this one is one of her new colourways. This is called Lobster Pot, and I believe it was going like hotcakes. That's 100% superwash merino as well. They work nicely together. That's so beautiful. I'm thinking probably socks for this though. It's so nice. And I actually got a sock set as well. And this is her Vintage Peony and Tiara. So that's a merino and nylon because it's an actual sock set. Kind of got a similar thing going on there, haven't I? Oh dear. Make me laugh that I'm always drawn to. You get into sort of, right, this is what I want and I'm drawn to that all the time, and then I change and I want something else and I'm drawn to that all the time. And then the other person that I got something from, so they're all the West Green Loft ones. Another one of my utterly favourite dyers. Her stall always looks amazing when you go to a festival and she's showing there, and you sort of look around and you'll spot her and you go, ah, it just looks stunning from across the room. You're like, yes, beautiful. And this is another one actually, very similar, stand out, beautiful stall. It's Fine Fish Yarns. So as you can see, a bit of a colour palette going on. Another sort of yellowy one, a speckly yellow this time, again in that buttery, that they would work well together. Oh my goodness, that would also be another one of these. I'm going to make hundreds of these apparently. Beautiful. So this is a merino nylon sock, and this is E numbers because of those crazy little speckles in there. Beautiful. And then carrying on with a slightly sort of mintier theme, this is another merino and nylon, and this one's called Wish, which also looks kind of like it'd go in with these. So yeah, yellows and mints I'm attracted to at the moment, with some pinks. So yeah, when I lay them down they kind of look quite cohesive as a whole palette together. Maybe I'll do a massive blanket with them all. But then that means using them, and I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that yet. Yeah, so I kind of stuck to my tried and tested favourites at Fiberies this year. I didn't really try anyone different or new, which is a shame, but there's always the next festival. But just, yeah, so the only other thing that I didn't get at the festival, because I'd run out of money by the time I saw it, because I didn't know there were going to be any there, is Ley Family Yarns. Yeah, so she didn't have a stall there, so I didn't sort of keep any back, because I would have done if I'd known. But there was another stall, the Loveliest Yarn Co, and she had some of Kelly's yarn there. Yeah, so I was like, oh no, if only I'd saved some money. I'm all spent out now. And so anyway, so I was chatting to Kelly on Instagram as it was, and she said, oh, well, one thing and another, could she send me something? And I sort of said, oh yeah, it was about the Battenberg blanket actually, because I think it's her daughter, did she say, or her daughter-in-law? I think her daughter was making it, and so she said, oh, I'll just send you a little something because the tutorial was helpful and so on. And I was like, oh yeah, just thinking, you know, little mini or something, you know. And in the post, popped along all of these beauties. Jaw on the floor moment or what? Unbelievable. So first of all, she sent along this, and we hadn't talked about this at all. Like I say, I really was not expecting much, but she sent along this, which was the very one that I was drooling over when I was at Fibre East. And I was like, oh, I really... So I kind of made a note because I thought, well, I'll get it online at some point once, you know, the finances are restored to health. It's her Magnolia colourway. But this was the very one that's like, oh, that's the one though, that's the one I want. And again, in keeping with my buttery yellow and pinky palette I've got going on at the moment. Perfect, isn't it? Perfect. I've almost got to make something with this palette, I feel. Now I've got it all out together. And this would actually work really well with another idea I've got, that I've got some skeins out for over there. Oh, right, so anyway, there's that one. So this is a sock one, I think. Yeah, merino nylon. And then there's this beauty. Oh, again, this one's merino nylon stellina, but it's got, I think it's a higher twist. It's got a different twist to it anyway, or a different spin to it. But that's beautiful. This is vintage China. Oh, isn't that lovely? I'm all about these sort of paler, speckly, softer colours at the minute. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful socks. Beautiful. See, that would work with that over there as well. Sorry, I'm showing you, and I keep getting a glimpse of these pile I've got over there and thinking, And some gorgeous minis. Look at those. Look at this one. Oh, I love that one. That's my favourite. Oh, aren't they perfect? What's she called these? Secret 7. They are merino nylon. It's one of those, you know when you get minis and you're like, what's the name of that? Because I could have whole skeins in all of those. That would make me happy. So I don't know what they're individually called, especially that one. That is my absolute favourite of all of these beauties. But they're all stunning. Yeah, and she popped one of her badges in as well for me. Lay Family Yarn pins. So I'm going to pop that on my pin bag. And that is it. I think I've done. I think I've told you everything. Yeah, I think that is it for me then. So thank you ever so much for sitting through that. I hope you didn't mind having too much yarn shoved in your face, if you made it through this far. But yes, thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, it's good to be back. Good to see you and chat with you again. Hope you find some lovely, relaxing, crafty time until we meet again. But until then,